And welcome to a live Energy Crüe podcast. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in and joining us on this beautiful Monday morning, August 7th. We have a lot of important stuff to talk to you today with, and the reason why we're doing this live is because it is so important and so pressing. But before we get to that, I want to have a couple of exciting things I want to share with you. The first thing is that Exec Crüe is the application is now open. Application process is now open. And Exec Crüe is going to be a limited membership-based networking group that's based on mentorship and connecting other leaders and founders and executives with a passion to share their strengths and learn from others. And the idea is simple: anyone is a teacher, and anyone can be a student. So that's me kicking off in September. It's going to be kicking off Q4, so that's October, and pretty excited about that. Again, check out more at www.connectioncrüe.com. Head over to Exec Crüe and learn more about that. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to introduce, have our guest. I think this is his third time on, I think the second time on Energy Crüe, and his third time on being one of my podcasts. And I think, and the reason we're doing this live, I'm going to have him kind of explain why. But again, I think I want to just kind of share that Exec Crüe is now application process is open. You want to learn more, head over and check it out. I'm about to put up a nice little presentation for more information, but that's what's sponsoring this right now is Exec Crüe, this Energy Crüe podcast. And I'm introducing who we have now, which is the man, the myth, the legend, the co-founder, a personal friend of mine, Mr. Ryan Keys. Ryan, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you. Dude, that was the first time I've heard the new intro to Energy Crüe. Very catchy. I like the unsa. It's good for a Monday morning. Get the energy flowing.
So that actually that was Monica. She and my wife.
Was it really?
Yeah, she put that together on a GarageBand and just threw that together, probably about a year and a half ago, and just kind of brought it back out of the archives to throw it back into the mix.
I think that's a keeper.
And I think she is too. So yeah, and I think the song, and also she is too. But,
yeah, she's a keeper. So is her music. Yeah, just to be clear.
Yeah, and I think for those, I want to thank everyone those that tune in. Normally we don't do these live. We do these, we record them and we do all this fun stuff. But I think for the timeliness of the subject at hand, I'm happy to do this live. And Energy Crüe is a podcast of mine where I want to bring in certain leaders. I want to talk about what's their passions, what's their strengths, what's their vulnerabilities, what are some of the stuff that all of us are dealing with on a daily basis that kind of no one talks about, or what's something that can inspire others through people's passions. And I have some great guests on, and Ryan, you being one of them, and also do some personal stuff as well, the kind of stuff that I've faced along the road. So if you enjoy this, take a look at previous episodes and find out what you think. But I want to start off now, and obviously we're going to save kind of the comments and the questions for those that are tuning in live right now. I think we have a smaller audience, but I think it's a target audience for this because right now we are going after this is it's for everyone, obviously, to kind of know what's going on. But this is specifically for, the small to middle-sized, operators in the upstream and the midstream side of things. And Ryan, I want to thank you for taking time this morning. I know it's a kind of a busy morning for you. It's always a busy morning. It's always a busy Monday morning for everyone. But I want to thank you for your time. And I don't think we need to do any introductions, do we, Ryan? I think if people want to find out who you are, you can kind of go to LinkedIn or check, just Google you. Is that correct?
There you go. Or one of the last Energy Crüe podcast I was on.
That's right, where we talked about traveling, but we're talking about something a little bit more important. Not more important. How about this? More focused today. This has the potential.
Stressful.
Yeah, this is absolutely more stressful, and that's always the fun side. But this is something that has the potential to impact a lot of companies and a lot of people. And I'm going to kind of give you the stage right now, Ryan. I kind of want you to talk about. You made a post on LinkedIn, I think. Last week. Was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
And it was last week, and it was kind of a not a call to arms, but it was kind of a back in the day they used to hammer the stuff in the town square, and I felt that's kind of what it was. And Ryan, I think I think when I first had you on the podcast, we were talking about the ESG, your company started doing the flyovers, and not only did you see an opportunity when most people were looking at certain ESG strategies and certain practices as kind of as a pain or a hassle or just a cost. You actually, and your team, hats off to you and your team, you actually kind of took that and viewed it as a way to increase your profit, actually. And I think it was so cool, not just the fact that first off, that you're able to do that, but also your willingness to share that with other operators, to share that with other companies. And that only, the fact that you chose to share it only improves the industry. It only improves kind of the industry. I love doing this live at the house. Got my beautiful wife and daughter over there about to go to the store. But I love how you kind of you're not holding your cards close to your chest. You want to share best practices. You want to share stuff that will help the industry out. So and you did that post, and that's kind of where we're at today. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox and pass the mic to you, and kind of why don't you tell us what kind of that post is all about and kind of the background of that.
Yeah, and then there's in the last couple of years, and there's like ESG, and then there's ESG. Like there's certain connotations. It's like, is ESG like in the analogy I always use is like we're not asking or making our employees wear like sustainably harvested cotton shirts. That's like if you want to do that, that's fine. It's not very meaningful. It doesn't do anything. That's like virtue signaling. It's like,
yes,
oh, here's the thing we did. Everyone look how evolved we are. I mean,
yes,
like that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah. So we actually so when in our board presentation, we didn't even call it ESG anymore. We just call it back what it was called a few years ago, which is health, safety, environment. Like it's just more just HSE. And this is just more of an environmental initiative.
And then it was sustainability, and then it was ESG.
Yeah.
It was HSC, EHS, sustainability, HSC, and Q. Yeah, it's evolved, but it all means
exactly.
The same thing.
And our philosophy from the very beginning, you call it whatever you want. It's align interests with society, and generally just don't be an asshole. Like that's ESG to us. Like don't be an asshole to your employees, to your investors, to your mineral owners, to your service companies, to everyone you deal with.
To the environment too.
Try to go into every interaction, leaving it better than when you started. So
don't be an asshole. I like it.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. That's generally our philosophy, and we've concentrated on water recycling, minimizing flaring, and this methane thing. Most importantly, because these are things we can all agree on regardless of why we're doing them. We might say, for different reasons. On the methane thing, like say someone who's very concerned about, greenhouse gas, and they're going to say, well, yeah, we shouldn't let greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. If you ask a mineral owner, they're going to say, well, you're leaking my gas. I want to be paid royalties on the gas that you're leaking. Those are that's not renewable. Like that, when they're gone, they're gone. And we can explore for more. We can maybe drill more, but they want to get paid for those. Safety, we don't want to be leaking. I actually just had one recently. There's a big leak coming off some equipment. We didn't own or operate, but the plume, you'd see it. It was right over our field office. It's like we don't want our employees breathing that. Like that's not like so for variety of reasons, for many reasons. This is something we should be good at. Just
kind of backing up and pause. This is kind of, regardless of why you're concerned about this, this is a focal point we're all concerned about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Someone's going to find, of the myriad reasons, 10, 15 reasons to do this, everyone's going to agree with at least one of them. And probably
purpose is there. The motivators are different. I'm with you. Okay.
Exactly. So we've been focused on, Triple Crown's been focused on the water recycling, flaring, and methane, and generally scope 1 carbon intensity for since we were founded. And so this latest bit, the flaring's pretty well understood. Let's minimize flaring. Let's recycle water, and actually let's make them profitable. So it's not even it's just good business.
Yes.
That's it. And at this point,
and people like good business. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing ourselves and our shareholders a solid by making this profitable. So just like with water, and this is pretty widespread in the Permian and other and in the Eagle Ford, Bakken, pretty much every unconventional resource play, where the full cycle cost of the water recycling is cheaper than producing a barrel of fresh water, fracking with it, and then disposing with it. That full cycle cost, it's actually more profitable to recycle it. So same thing is true with we found with the vast majority of our methane emissions.
Okay.
It's actually profitable to go capture it. There's always going to be some, and pardon the term, some mouse farts. We don't really care about the mouse farts, and to a large extent, so is the EPA. Really,
so we could say asshole without apologizing, but mouse farts we have to be okay. So just understand that. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, and these little bitty leaks, and some of them you can't even detect. They're just theoretical. This is why it's confusing.
Right.
To a large extent, EPA, new regulations, very confusing. I'm still confused. I look at this every week because it's a big risk to our business. And to every oil and gas company in the United States, you need to understand this. This is happening very rapidly. It's happening right now. It's going into action at the end of this year and definitely the beginning of next year. This is happening to everyone.
All right, let's take a break. First off, explain to me what's happening. If I'm okay, here's the deal. If I'm listening to this, because it's my favorite podcast, because I'm an E&P operator, smaller E&P operator. I'm listening to this, and I'm hearing you say, "Hey, it's happening. You got to know what's happening." Talk to me give me the 30,000. But what's happening?
Very good question. At a federal level. And we all have the U.S. is marble cake, right? You have marble. So we have state regulators, federal regulators, local regulators. To some extent, like if you take Colorado, for example, have been very proactive. Some would say too proactive, depending on who you are on the methane front.
Okay.
I don't operate in Triple Crown does not operate in Colorado. We can't speak to that. We operate in Texas, which has not been proactive, right or wrong. That's both a feature and a bug, depending on who you are. That's not really the issue here. So, but states have been moving at different paces. That's by design. This is the U.S. This is beautiful. This is supposed to happen. We're 50 different democracies. We can move in 50 different directions at once, as long as we all follow the Constitution. But what's happening now is a broad, sweeping change to the EPA rule on methane, and that was first passed. The first incarnation of this was Quado. It's getting into the regulatory acronyms and nomenclature, but it essentially regulated how different sources, methane emission sources, not just methane, but different emission sources, types of equipment, how we have to track it. So up until now, this EPA thing has been, there's not been really any penalty associated with it. They're basically just guidelines, and if you don't follow the guideline, there's really no penalty. With some exceptions. There are some exceptions to that, but what the new EPA ruling, and this will have the force of law at a federal level, all 50 states must comply with this, including Texas, that there are going to be very specific standards we all have to meet, very specific sizes of operators who have to report in different ways. And there is now a mechanism that oil and gas companies will be fined for big methane emissions. And we can talk about what those are. Okay.
So just to kind of catch everyone up, for those that have this on the background while they're kind of doing their own thing at the desk right now, what you're saying is coming up in the near short term on the horizon, it's going to be new regulation, new law, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much you can, the way you've been operating and do business from today, from when you open up doors, historically, whatever, that's about to change dramatically because now there's some teeth to these suggestions or mandates or bylaws or recommendations. Now there's actual teeth to this where, people can get, punished, fined, or pay a penalty or something like that. So there's actual some weight to this right now. It's not just this suggestion. There's actual consequences for actions.
Yes. And
when is this When are people going to start seeing this kind of bubble to the surface?
Later this year, the final rule will be passed, and there are a few different ways EPA is going about this. And one of them is not even EPA. First is the methane rule, which regulates frequency, size of leaks, types of equipment, and this is just an emissions tracking mechanism. Specifying what our thresholds are and what types of equipment, monitoring methods we can use.
Okay, so I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this, all this stuff. Okay, I'm thinking, oh shit, we got stuff coming on the horizon, all this stuff. Where do you? Why am I listening to this? Why do I need to go to Google and find this stuff, or is there something out there that you're kind of that you can kind of help people out there or companies out there in a situation when they might peer from the computer and say, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit far behind. I don't know what's coming up. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this.
So this is happening everywhere. There are a lot of, if you're a small or mid-sized operator, anywhere from a publicly traded independent down to someone with a couple of marginal wells, you probably don't have dedicated people to follow all this and to understand all this and what is applicable to you. It is extremely confusing.
Yeah,
I follow this every week. I'm still confused. So there's confusion everywhere about when, what, why, all the questions you can possibly ask. We know we're supposed to do something, and so we have these silos of different great groups, consolidators of data, analysis, lobby groups. The one I was asked to help lead it's from the National Petroleum Council. The NPC was formed in the 1950s for the Truman administration, at the time to the Department of Interior. It's essentially and the Department of Interior then broke into the Department of Energy and then other departments, but to advise the government, the executive branch of the government, regardless of who's president, on all things oil and gas, the general state of the industry. Over the years, NPC is chaired. It's a rotating management of the majors. This year, for example, ConocoPhillips is leading NPC, and Ryan Lance, the CEO of ConocoPhillips, is the chairman of NPC.
Okay.
And then next year it'll be a different operator, and they just rotate. Who's in
a large operator, super
yes,
major.
All the majors. That's the super majors. I mean, everyone knows who those are. So as you might expect, the NPC, if those are the member companies, and there's some smaller ones in there as well, but if those are the member companies on all things greenhouse gas, methane, flaring, they're not really getting the viewpoint of the smaller operators. And by smaller operators, I mean, let's say below $10 billion, market cap. That's
so teeny. Yeah, the mom and pop operators.
Exactly. So even like a just to pick on them, because they're barely under 10 billion market cap, total capitalization, is like a company called Matador.
Yeah, pretty big company.
Companies that size are still the ones that might not have their voices heard, especially all the way down to mom and pop. Joe's operating company in some small county on the edge of the Permian Basin, for example.
So the chunk of operators you're talking about is kind of the majority of the operators that I know. I mean, yes, there's the super majors, the Exxon, the Chevrons, the Conocos, and all that stuff. But I mean, if you're talking down from Matador, all the way down to the Pecos county operating. It's a huge chunk of the pie of people working, of people trying to conduct business, trying to provide energy out there, trying to get oil out of the ground out there. So this is a huge portion of, I guess, the people that I know, the people that you know as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. And that voice, when NPC presents to the Department of Energy and in the White House, and again, this is regardless of who's president.
Right.
I'd say it's especially important when you have an administration that has not been exactly friendly to the oil and gas industry. It is especially important now to get your voices heard, because NPC has a direct line to Secretary Granholm, who's our Secretary of the Department of Energy.
Okay, so what do you're putting together something? You're putting together workshops. to talk to me about this.
Yeah, these are workshops where these smaller operators, and this is a broad invitation. If you're a smaller operator, it's very, very important. We might have other events where service companies, consultants can come in, but right now it's operator only, and this is for confidentiality purposes. And the first one is in 2 days in Houston, where we can assemble, and we have a 100-page presentation acting as the baseline of resource. What I need to know for what size of operator, what do I need to do? And what we're actually going to concentrate on is not just the regulation. Everyone needs to climb the ladder and what regulations coming down the pike.
Right.
That's step one. Let's just understand what EPA is doing and what PHMSA is doing. Pipeline, I always forget anyway, a different regulatory body.
Yeah, if you said it, I'd probably nod like I know what you're talking about, but I don't. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm with you. Totally.
And an average small operator has no idea because this is a lot to keep track of.
No, it is. Yeah.
Have dedicated people. And I'm a co-founder of my company, and we have wonderful amazing engineers, two of whom are attending the workshops, at least the first one. That's not their job. We all have to, small mid-sized operator is going to have to wear this hat, and someone else is going to have to do it. Generally speaking, maybe it's a facilities engineer, production engineer. I mean, for me, I'm a founder of Triple Crown, co-CEO of Triple Crown. So this is my job too. I have to wear this hat among all the other hats we have to wear. It's hard.
Well, I mean, but it also, for me, I mean, look, this is kind of getting back to the theoretical running a business type of thing. But I would assume if you're a smaller operator, again, you say small. How about let's just say not a super major? How about that?
Yes.
I would assume that you would not want to put this all on one person just because you don't want to deal with it. Exactly. I would assume that this might be something that you have a lot of people kind of their fingers, in the frosting. Just made that up. That you have their fingers in the frosting, so everyone kind of understands a little bit what's going on. So if there is a red flag, or if there is something that kind of pings, like, hey, look, we need to discuss this. Everyone is kind of on board. You don't have to pull anyone up to speed. So let me go back to the workshop. So this workshop right now is primarily for non-super major operators. How about that? Small to medium-sized operators, midstream companies. And this is, I guess, first off, I love how you're doing this. And the whole goal of this is to kind of bring operators together to, number one, to understand the regulations that are coming out. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, to provide some sort of kind of resource, kind of like a resource support group, kind of a little bit.
Exactly. This is kind of outsourcing your a lot of your understanding. This is an outsourced consultant, and it is free.
Okay,
this is free, and we are here to listen. Also,
so how does an operator how does somebody get an invite to this workshop? So okay, you have 1 and 2 days, which is going to be August 9th in Houston, Texas. When's your next one?
The next one is August 23rd in Midland.
All right, that's my daughter's birthday. I can't go that. Okay, so August 23rd, Midland. When's the next one?
I think it's I don't have it right in front of me. I think it's September 9th. It's in September, and it's in Denver, and we'll also have one in Carnegie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
In September, and after that, depending on interest levels and how this first one goes, this is an experiment. Even for NPC, it's amazing how many different groups have come together. There are several IPAA members in this group, and different consortiums of operators, interest groups, NGOs, and anyway, so lots of different resources coming together, and we'll probably circle back to Texas again.
Okay.
After the Carnegie one.
So if I'm sitting there, I say, hey, look, I don't have the resources, I don't have the time. I'll just kind of get the cliff notes after the meeting's done. I'll just kind of find out, peruse, and all that stuff. Yes, you can do that. I think that's kind of obviously being there. Yes, you can do that. However, being there in person or having some sort of skin in the game is probably more important for you as a company, and also you as kind of a domestic energy producer, because it does give you a voice. It does kind of give you some guidance and say so on potentially where everyone kind of gripes, complains about regulations and this and that. This, as you said in your post, this is an opportunity to not just understand what's going on, but also have a say in what's going on. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So a lot of this is we're gonna have a series of poll questions. This is meant to be collaborative. There's Chatham House rules, so confidentiality.
What is Chatham House rules? First off, I don't know why I love it. I think it sounds like old school New England, like Chatham House rules. Like, what is Chatham House rules for those that are out there? That means pretty much any information you get there, you're not allowed to decipher who is from. What that's just you're going there to absorb information and knowledge
Yes.
and contribute like a sponge. You're not going to go
Yes.
out and kind of post or tweet about it or whatever.
We don't want an operator to be worried about something they say being taken out of context, for example.
Okay.
We have a lot of that's happening a lot. Things
Yeah.
we say can and will be taken out of context. That's not going to happen. It's confidential.
I have to disagree with you. It's 2023, and I don't think anything's been taken out of context when it comes to operator space.
Yeah.
Ever. So,
Exactly.
So first off, okay. Again, I want to just kind of commend you and kind of whoever else is kind of putting this together. The fact that you're getting out there and starting this, experimental workshops to bring in operators together to have these discussions, to kind of get caught up. And honestly, Ryan, it might be one of those things you're going to get to the table and say, guys and girls, there's so much that we just don't know right now. So what do we need to start knowing? Like, do we need a weekly this? So I think this is such a cool, launching board or springboard for these discussions, because you're right, there is a lot. I mean, when you're dealing with the EPA, you're dealing with environmental regulations. It is a lot. It's very confusing, and sometimes it might be made to be confusing for a lot of people out there. And if you don't have a dedicated team that are just focused in this, then I think a resource like this, a community like this, I think is be hugely impactful. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kind of get on the soapbox, but keep talking about kind of what you hope to, I guess, achieve at this, and kind of how you're going to measure, I guess, kind of the success and participation. I mean, how's the kind of the feedback coming in currently since you made the post 4 days ago?
It's been so. One of the cool parts, I'm going to answer that kind of indirectly first. One of the cool parts about our industry is generally, especially smaller companies, really just want to be left alone. Don't really want to, but when it comes to stuff like this kind of, it's hard to get people mobilized. It's like, I don't want to worry about that.
Right.
Please don't do that. This at this point, it's a lot of this is still it's not done yet. We get to
it's being molded
how it looks. So let's be proactive. One of the primary products of these NPC workshops is to take findings. Like we're going to have, I think at Houston, we have about 25 operators, might be up to 30. And hope to get that as many as possible.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like a crew club event.
Yeah, there you go. We'll probably have the same concerns repeated multiple times, and the objective is to document all those. We have very, very capable full-time NPC people and people who are part of the workshop actually at operators. So there will be several ConocoPhillips people here dedicated to this. These are very serious people. These are professionals. They're very good at what they do. And we are going to document concerns from small, medium-sized operators, especially if they come up more than once. And that will form the product delivered from NPC to the Department of Energy and the White House. Again, regardless of who's there, we might or might not have a different president in a couple of years. This is just the White House. This is always going to be there.
If I can't make it, okay, I'm an operator. I can't make it August 23rd in Midland. All right. I got to be in Houston, my daughter's birthday, and all that fun stuff. I can't make it. Is there some way I can either contact you or contact someone to find out information? Or is there something like, hey, look, I do have my own concerns. I can't make the meetings, but I do want to contribute. How can people do that? Or are we just strictly talking about the workshop currently?
At the moment, it's just the workshops.
Which is powerful.
May change. This group has been, it's really come one, come all at the moment, just operators, but please show up, and your involvement will help evolve the format if it does evolve. Maybe this isn't the best format. Maybe we do need to have, bi-weekly podcasts or something, or, bi-weekly web meetings. So any people who are in different locations can better, can come in. The first one, bare minimum, is going to be in person only for security reasons. Don't want to disclose who is hosting, but that operator has very high security and confidentiality is high. But this can evolve. Like this can and will evolve.
It sounds like it will. And I think, and honestly, for those that are kind of sitting out there, you're right. People don't want to be bothered. People do want to be left alone. They would just want to, I just want to do business how it's been done. You know, like I'm here to kind of, punch a hole in the ground and deliver product in the safest, cleanest way without being an asshole as possible. But this is one of those scenarios that, people, do complain about, when things happen. This is your opportunity to have a voice, to help shape this, whatever it's policy, whatever that is. This is the opportunity to have some sort of weight, some sort of say, some sort of skin in the game. So I highly recommend, honestly, Ryan, even if they can't make the event in 2 days, even if they can't, at least email you or to reach out to you or maybe to someone to show you some sort of support, some sort of recognition about this. So maybe there might be something in the future next time they can kind of chime in.
Yeah. Best way to do that is on LinkedIn. Apologies if I don't get to it for a couple of days. The other job is Triple Crown business. This is just something I'm passionate about. So I wanted to.
And maybe a way for people to separate that. If you do reach out to Ryan, or if you do email Ryan, again, if you'd like to, Ryan, I'm not sure if you want, we can put your email here. You can title it GHG emissions meeting or whatever. Just put GHG, methane, or something like that in the subject line, so it kind of pings Ryan, so he knows what you're talking about, or something like that. But Ryan, what else you kind of want to talk about this before we kind of wrap this up?
So being informed, first and foremost, getting your voice heard. We hope people leave with an appreciation that it's not just, doesn't have to be ugly. This doesn't have to be painful. So when we talk about regulation, you can kind of like, what are the reasons to do, to minimize methane leaks, minimize flaring, so on and so forth. You have carrots and sticks. Sticks, that's where the regulator comes in, and there will be a fee through the Inflation Reduction Act. Actually had a mechanism to fine operators. That gets very complicated. We're going to explain that in the workshop, how that happens, who's at risk, whether you need to worry about it. But we don't want to concentrate on that too much because it's just unpleasant. There are carrots. There's some juicy tidbits. Some of these are just we're all.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah, this is the fun part. This is the opportunity part. If you just look at a leak, like we're oil and gas companies. What do? We find and produce oil and gas and sell it and make money doing so. So if you go out and you do a survey and you find a leak and it's like, oh crap, oh my God, this is a big leak. This isn't good. I thought I had the right equipment out here. We'll talk about that.
Right.
But I had the right equipment. This isn't supposed to be happening. This is a fugitive emission and it's big and I'm not very happy about it. And oh wow, that's a leak of 100 MCF a day and it costs $500 to fix it. It's like, wait a minute. You back up, you do the math on that. This is like a workover. It's like pump change. I'm going to go acidize. I'm going to go, especially for the small vertical well guys, this is a workover. This is a very, very profitable workover for a subset of our leaks. That is really economic. I mean, if we compare these to our other workover opportunities and drilling another well, the big leaks paid out in a matter of days.
I think that's so funny. Going back to kind of the initial conversation I had with you about this, how, you're like, we're going to get a plane. We're going to fly the plane over. You're going to do this. And that costed, $26,000 to look at everything. Again, I just made that number up.
That was actually the number.
I know. I kind of felt like I kind of showed a card. I'm like, oh shit. But if you go back and listen to it, you can kind of find out. But no, I remember you said it was like $26,000 to get the plane, to get this, to get this, to get this, get that data, get the imaging, all that stuff. You're like, JP, we made that back and profit within 4 days or something like that. It was some like you turned that potential hazard into an area to make. So you're right. The carrot portion of this workshop to me sounds so exciting because you're right. That's where the opportunities are. And the fact that, you're talking about this, I just remember that story about the flyover and how your team went turn this situation into kind of hey, we can make some money doing this.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a great way and such an exciting way to look at, ESG or HSC, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. It's really just running your business. It's a new kind of area to expand your business. And like, there's no geologic risk. The well's already there. There's no production risk, drilling the well, workover. It's just leaking. It's already there. You just go stop the leak, and then like
make money from it.
You make money, and like this doesn't happen with every leak. We're gonna have show some economics of different leak rates and intermittency and all that stuff. The important part is knowing the resources out there, the technology to use to keep your costs low. You keep it so low that this actually becomes profitable. Then you're complying with the regulation,
and you're making
because it's your business. It's like I'm complying. Yeah, I have to do this annoying report, but like I would have done that stuff anyway.
How long is this workshop expected? So in 2 days, what's the time frame you're looking at the workshop? In the morning, afternoon? What's up?
It is all day. This is an all-day workshop.
It's all day
you don't have to stay all day. We'd like for you to. We'd like for operators to, but this is 8 to 5. This is a full day. This is all, we're going to cover every single thing we think that is possible to know right now. Not that we haven't comprehensive everything, answer every question.
You got it. Look, you're starting from somewhere, and that to me is such a huge amount of respect. The fact that not only you're trying to get ahead of it, which is our industry is tremendously known for being what is it? It's reactive, not proactive.
Yeah. Yes.
And then bitching about that, like, here's the chance to do something proactive. This is the chance to do something proactive. The fact you're leading the charge, or whoever's leading the charge, hats off to you. I do think that for timeliness, we're going to release this episode tomorrow. So apologies for any audio or anything like that. And Ryan, if they want the invite to this and all stuff, is it just, are you the single sources, or something they can email and try to get on? I mean, I would hate to kind of innuendo do with all, but I mean, is it just you? If that's the case, I'm fine with it. I don't care.
At the moment, so I had to ask a few of the folks involved with the study group here if this was okay, and it's so inclusive right now. The invitation is going out to basically everyone. It's inclusive. Again, as long as you're an operator, we're going to hopefully have some non-operator interaction. But
you got to start somewhere.
At the moment, it's just me. Like it's manageable right now. The initial post on LinkedIn generated. I don't think it's hundreds, but dozens of messages. It might take me a couple of days or a day to get back to it. If you do want to, I am. This is a huge priority over the next day. Because the first one's on Wednesday, so I will get to. I'm going to catch up today on the LinkedIn messages. Get everyone added, and then we hope this kind of perpetuates itself.
And honestly,
become like an awareness. You get up in the morning like knowing this is out there. This resource is out there. So,
and I think that's a great thing. I think you need to show your the DFW boys and gals some love, especially Corey Parrott up there asking why not Dallas. But always love Corey and those cats up north. But this might be something where it probably does go to DFW. Probably does go to OKC. So, but then again, Ryan, I'm going to help you any way I can for this, because I think what you're doing for the industry to keep people to stay proactive, keep people on top of this very, very important issue, and not let it be left up to the super majors to decide what happens to the small to medium. The matadors down. I mean, that's a huge array of operators and people that I know. And obviously, if there's anything I can do, Ryan, and we'll kind of, once we end this, we'll kind of talk about what I can do to kind of support this. But again, for those out there that either know an operator or know someone that might not have tuned into this episode, which I don't see how that's possible because everyone listens to the Energy Crüe podcast. But if you do know an operator out there, small, medium, midstream, or upstream that you do that probably should be on their that this should be on their radar. I don't know what's wrong, man. I feel like it's Monday, 7:00. But please share this with them. Reach out to Ryan and find out how you can be connected and get involved and get proactive. Because once it's out of our hands, we don't want it to be left to the super majors to decide on everything, how it looks moving forward. But Ryan, thank you for your time. Any final thoughts, words of wisdom or advice about these workshops?
No, I mean, please keep up. Well, I'll maybe a week or two before each of the workshops, I'll start kind of advertising those on LinkedIn. And so, like, if you miss this one in Houston, you want to go to another Houston one, we're probably circling back. It might not be till October or something.
That's
so, it is. You don't. If it's not this one, there will be other opportunities. So, please.
But if you can make this one, and you don't want to wait till October and be 2 months behind everyone else,
there's still time. Just tell me by tomorrow.
Get on this one,
and we'll get you on the list. The operator that's hosting is one of the super majors in Houston. Has a big facility for us to go talk about this. Lunch will be served, and a lot of the best and brightest. These are all oil and gas people.
Cool.
So
okay,
this is a very friendly room.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Ryan. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in and listening this on the first Energy Crüe live podcast we've had. Again, you can check out this podcast and other ones before. Again, if you know an operator, upstream or midstream, share this with them. I think this is an important subject. And Ryan, again, you're trying to help the industry out. You're trying to help the environment out. So hats off to you, man. I really appreciate your time, and I love what you and the team at Triple Crown are doing to better the industry and also kind of share information and stuff that matters to other people out there. Not a lot of operators are taking that foot forward that y'all are. So hats off to y'all again. Thank you for tuning in Energy Crüe. If you enjoyed it, please share it. Please share it with someone. Talk about it. Bring it up. Tag me on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is. If you enjoyed it, check out the last ones again. If you want to connect with other leaders, founders, and get a little mentorship group, connect with an exec crew. We're open for that. And other than that, I think that's all we got going on. Ryan, thank you for your time, and you have a good day, brother.
You too, man.
I gotta do the send out. So you got to stay on. Hold up, buddy. I gotta do the music again.
Of course, unsa.
Hit it.
Where's the strobe?
Oh, there's the overlay. That's the overlay.
Oh, your mic is the strobe.
All right, and for those that are tuning in after this, we actually have a question, Ryan, from someone on YouTube. Frank Murda wrote, "I was under the impression the methane fee applies to facilities that do subpart W reporting. So any facilities that emit
25,000 kilotons CO2 equivalent per year.
Per year, yes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, 100%. How that's being assessed through the IRA now, that's confusing. But this is currently under construction. EPA is modifying heavily that subpart W language in there, and we have what's changing compared to the last subpart W process. We'll be documenting that heavily.
All right. Well, thank you for the question, and Ryan, good luck to you and your endeavors, and we'll talk to you soon.